And we're back once again, only on It's After Hours, only on Full Swap Radio. And joining me here on location, this young lady here, well, she's freshly back after a exciting and fact-finding mission over in Exotica, Chicago. And last we had her on the show, she was just starting with her career, navigating through everything. But now she's full into the swing, shooting pro scenes, doing all the things you love, and making a big name for herself. I give you once again the beautiful, the gorgeous, and the hardworking. I give you it's Alyssia Vera. So let's start off here with. So you're now doing pro shoots. You've had a full almost year under your belt. Like how much has changed since the last time we talked to you to now today?
Oh my goodness, so many things. I mean, I actually, for the first time, did a BBC anal scene, and I never thought I was going to be able to accomplish that, but I did it. So, you're probably wondering how the outcome of that was.
I do because it sounds fun, but it also sounds painful. Like, oh, this could be like stretching things
Yeah.
out. You start leaking. There's pain, and you're going, okay, I can't walk. I need a donut to sit on, not the one you eat, but the one you sit on. Like, oh, okay, oh,
Oh
no.
my God, that's so funny. As far as the scene went, I was fully prepped and prepared, so luckily no leakage there. It was very difficult at first because I can have sex so many times, and I'm like, as I think in my previous podcast with you, I'm like the Virgin Mary. I don't know, it just shrinks up really fast. So it takes a lot for me to really prep for stuff like that. But it was fantastic. I've done several massive scenes, not just with DP Divas in Perp City, but with Bang Bros and New Sensations and all kinds of different sets.
So let's talk about that. So, because when you do your own stuff, you get all the money, you do all the work, you have to hustle. There's paperwork, and as we joked about, it feels like like sometimes more work than play. But when you go on set, you show up. If it's the better set, it's like there's makeup, there's catering, you get pampered a bit. Like, how much do you enjoy, like, when you go to Bang Bros or New Sensations or DP, where it's like, okay, I don't have to worry about makeup or taking care of it. I don't have to worry about like food. They'll take care of it. This is like, like vacation time.
It is somewhat like that. So whenever I have to go to a bankroll shoot, I'm always traveling. So because I reside in Texas, in Dallas, so I have to actually go to them, which obviously, but whenever I get on to set, it is bliss, especially when they give you a call time of 8 a.m. Jacob loves to kick my ass and put me in those fucking early ass morning call times. So I get on set and I love it that I don't have to do my own makeup. But the funny thing is, he's always laughing at me because I have to put my own food in the refrigerator because I don't like to eat anything but my food. So I always have my big lunchbox with me everywhere I go.
Well, I get that because you take care of your figure, and when you get older, after the age of like 22, 23, you can no longer like, oh yeah, let's have pizza and like candy and soda, and you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about going to your hips. When you get older, it's like, oh crap, I just had Chinese food, and now I feel like I'm pregnant.
I know it sucks so bad. The nice thing though with him, I love working with Jacob. He's one of my favorite producers. I mean, because we bounce back. We're both smart asses, so we throw shit at each other. But he has friends sometimes that will actually help. Like they'll even cook for us. So there's like dinner ready for us at the end of the scene, and we're like, oh my god, like wow, they do give 5-star treatment. They're so awesome to us. I love him. So.
So do you like that about doing the early morning scenes? Because as you said, with Bang Bros, you get in there, everything's taken care of. They pay. That's the big thing here. You get the check, but as you said, it's early in the morning. You're waking up and you're like trying to, make sure, okay, I'm awake. I've had my 2 coffees, and it's like, all right, well, we're gonna throw you right in there. It's like, okay, and you don't get that time to like, sleep in a bit and just gradually get in. It's like you gotta do this right away, commando style.
Yeah, yeah. And especially when it's an anal scene, if I'm booked for an anal, I demand an early morning scene because I would probably not survive if it were a 3 o'clock call time for an anal scene. and you're basically deprived and about to shrivel up and blow away. So yeah.
Now you've done a lot more of those recently. I mean, you've done for Bang Bros, the DP City, as I said, some other companies. Like, why is that? Why is it that all of a sudden, you're like, okay, we're gonna do more? You've sort of like gone off of training wheels and going full into the deep end.
Well, I wouldn't say I do. I've actually tapered back just a little bit, um, just because I have been growing my brand and obviously on my own platform. So I'm actually doing really well on those right now, and I don't have to do as many really big scenes. Although I do like doing them, you know, 5 a month maybe, which is nice because I do need them, and it's brand recognition, and you get new fans from all of the different companies that hire you and so forth. So
Is it also like it's money is coming in right away? So instead of like with all your sites, like it's a monthly check and like, oh crap, I gotta wait. How much is it easier like having this quick cash where it's like, okay, get it, I can then invest it right into my own stuff where I can, hey, maybe hire a makeup artist now for the next couple months, or hey, maybe I can get some new camera equipment, or hey, maybe I can save some money up and then start shooting in other locations rather than my usual house or other place.
right, right. No, yeah. Running your own production on your platforms, it can be obviously costly, and there is an investment to that. But I think that the longevity of making your own content pays off dividends because, say, you went and worked for a big production studio, okay? And you get $1,500 or 1,200 or whatever it is for that one scene. And you're on set for, let's just say, 4 to 6 hours, which is usually the usual, unless it's like a she's milfy scene, which would be like an 8 hour, 10 hour day, right? So you get that check, you get home, you're like, oh my God, good. It's instant cash. You needed that. And then you go look and you know that they're probably making, oh my gosh, maybe $20,000, $30,000 a month just on your video, that scene that you did alone. And then you go and make your own content. Yeah, it took work and labor and a little bit of time, definitely not as much time as these big sets, but over the longevity of that scene that I made on my platform, I ended up making way more than that $1,200. So in the long run, I kind of like running my own gig. It's nice. So
But is it, is how much does that help though? As you said, when you run your own gig, you have to wait and you have to build it up. Whereas sometimes these things help just because you get that quick cash where you can invest right away and all of a sudden have to worry about, well, I gotta do these amount of days for this to get this, and I gotta do all this network. It's like, all right, here's the quick cash. Oop, I can get my camera now. I can start worrying about one less thing I have to worry about buying now rather than later on down the road.
oh, for sure. Yeah. Going to a big production studio and getting quick cash is super important, especially when you're first starting. That's crucial. If you don't have any back end money saved up or any kind of capital, yes, you will need to definitely go in the direction of studios first, build that up, and then work towards that end goal, which is your own. So
Recently, you also got to do Exotica Chicago. Tell me about that.
mhm.
How fun was it? And what were you at a booth? Did you walk around? And what was the goal in terms of going to Chicago Exotica?
I actually went just to go see everything. I was gonna get a booth. I vetoed that idea just because I'm going to XBIZ in May, and I'm going to be getting a booth at a couple different exoticas. So this one, I was just I've never been to a Chicago exotica, so I was just kind of just walking around, seeing everything, and everyone noticed me. It was so funny. Every time I'd walk up to someone else's booth, they'd go, "Oh my God, it's Alyssia Vera. I want a picture with you." And I'm like, "Oh my God, I feel so bad because it was, their booth." And they were wanting pictures with me. So I did feel bad about that. But it was awesome seeing the talent, just the culture, the difference in everyone's unique brands. I love seeing the big show they had. There was a girl named Pandora, she would hang from a ring and she was dancing. I mean, it was all on a stage. It was so amazing. I loved seeing that. I want to do something like that myself one day, like a whole burlesque show where I can sing. So that'd be fun.
But one drawback about having booth, and once again, you're going to be at XBIZ in Miami or in May,
Yeah.
is you're stuck at the booth. So how tough, for you, is it worth it sometimes when if you go just by yourself, it's like you can network with people, you can do any, content trades, you get to basically be the master of time and scheduling rather than okay, I gotta be at the booth here. I can't just, leave after an hour. I gotta stay here for a couple hours. Like, is how much is it worth it sometimes when you're not making money? You're not really selling a lot at the booth. It's just you're there for promotional reasons.
It's not bad at all, honestly. If you're able to snag a booth, whether it be from someone else that purchased it or yourself, it's honestly a really good investment because say you went and printed off some 8x10s at a super cheap rate or something, and you get a bunch of fans that come in and you go and turn around and sell those suckers for, 20, $40 a pop, you're going to end up making several $100s, if not thousands of dollars. So in reality, it's honestly beneficial to get a booth. Definitely.
How do you get people to do that though, to buy stuff? Because everybody, when you go to these conventions, they want to spend money. It's almost like the jaws of life trying to get somebody to get that $20 and buy that autograph stuff. It's like, well, can I get it free? No, you can't get it for free. This isn't water. Do not get it for free.
I know and that's hard. You get torn because you want them to support you, but then you don't want them to hate you in the end because you're like, well, I'm not trying to be, a bad talent, but this is your career. And when you set a boundary, and they usually respect it. I mean, I've never ran across someone that didn't respect that boundary. If I say I charged for a photo or a picture or whatever, I don't personally, right at this current time, taking a picture with me, I think there I don't charge for that. I charge for everything else, but a picture with me at this current moment, I do not charge for. Eventually at some point I'm sure I will.
Who now? I'm guessing you've already it's in May, but you've already lined up some content trade, hopefully for
Yeah.
May. Which and you always know it's like you plan everything in advance. Next thing you know, somebody calls, yeah, I'm sick, or yeah, I didn't make it, or yeah, I'm hungover. It happens a lot when you go to Florida. There's always just people hungover. So
Uh,
how many people do you have lined up for shooting in May versus how many you expect to actually follow through for May?
Oh gosh, I have at least 20, 30 in the pipeline, to be honest with you. The only thing that's going to be a hang up for me is my surgery, just because I just had it on the 24th and it could take even possibly 3 weeks. I don't know how I'll feel in the next couple weeks, so it's just a waiting game. But I would definitely say between Miami, XBiz, and then I have a trip planned for LA at the end of May, and I'll be there for about 7 days. I have some pretty solid names in the pipeline, and I would see all of them following through because they all are, hustlers. They're workers. They get stuff done, and we communicate well. So I don't see any of those falling through. There was one that I dealt with that partied too hard and just didn't make it in time, but that was kind of on them. I don't drink especially before a shoot, so.
So let's talk about the we'll call it the not surgery, but let's call it the let's see the restoration procedures here. You did some stuff.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's not like things were sagging, but you had stretch marks. It wasn't like that you were a beautiful woman no matter what. What
Thank
made
you.
you want to do it? Like, why was this time you decided to go? Okay, well, let's get some maintenance done. There, it's a better word for it. Maintenance.
That's good. Yeah, maintenance was needed for me only because I felt insecure in that area. For me, it probably wasn't really noticeable in my work whenever I was acting, but I had certain moments, and maybe this will, if you ever look at some of my videos, you'll see sometimes when I would turn to my side, for instance, I would put my hand in front of it because my stomach is not like super, super like straight washboard flat. Like there's just like the small little spot on my lower abdomen, and I always hated it. I'm like, I want it gone. I want it gone. And luckily enough, out of the blue, this incredible supporter and fan came on my OnlyFans, and he started dropping a bunch of money, and I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome, you know? Well, he ended up disappearing, but he had dropped like $2,000. And then 5 days later, he showed back up. And it was on my Twitter, I think. I started messaging him, and I was like, hey, maybe we could work out a deal or something. And he's like, what's that? And I don't know. I don't even know why I said it or why I did it. I was like, well, if I send you a bunch of videos, pictures, and I give you my actual cell phone number, I was like, would you be willing to help pay for my surgery? And he said yes. He said yes. And he never paid me. He paid directly to the surgery center, quick pay link. And he instantly had paid my deposit, and he pretty much paid for pretty much the entire thing. And I've never met him. I've never even spoken to him on the phone. It was, I mean, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I'm still to this day, I can't even thank him enough. That was the golden opportunity right there. That's why I did it. So.
All right. So the next question, of course, is how does the husband handle all this?
Oh, he loves it.
Hmm?
Oh, he loves it. He loves that
I was
shit.
gonna say, but is it weird because every man who ever has a beautiful woman wants to go, hey, I can take care of her. I can provide. I am not, a deadbeat. So when this happens, there's that psychological thing where he's like, I don't know about how you feel about this. Yeah, I'm glad to get
Yeah.
money, honey, but I can pay. I'm the breadwinner also. I'm not just some bum off a street.
I know, but I mean, shoot, like if someone's willing to pay for that, and the beautiful thing with our careers, we make sure, we everything is connected, obviously. So everything is mutual. Everything is what's mine is yours. But we have this, like this is my brand. Alyssia Vera is me, and this is where I'm making my money, my profit. This is where, if gifting comes in, I mean, it's all to that aspect. It's Alyssia Vera. It's not my real name. So it it's just it's just my alter ego. So my alter ego is getting gifted, not so much me. Like, does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. That leads me to my next question. Like, how do you make sure the alter ego doesn't take over? Because we've seen that with a lot
Mm.
of performers and a lot of even mainstream actors, pro wrestlers, where all of a sudden they live the gimmick, where they live the character, where the people we see on screen takes over rather than the person we see off screen. So how do you make sure that doesn't happen? Because Alyssia Vera lives a great life. She's doing all this, and this. She's all these people, who would love to do everything to her, and yet there's that other person who, as you said, there's a lot you don't show. There's a lot your only husband gets to see. There's a lot he gets to do,
Mhm.
and you keep that private. How tough is that? Making sure those two lives are very separate. They don't intertwine.
Yeah, that's tough. Um, Honestly, it's a mental. I don't know. It's mental control. It's mind control. Like I guess I have good self control and awareness, and it's so good. I I'm able to keep that personal and professional boundary away from each other. I don't really know other than it's control. I don't. If I go off to work, for instance, and I go do, or even here. Okay, so for this is a great example. So my first ever collaboration I did was with a guy that I recently did, and it was a BBC anal, and we did it in our master bedroom. First time we've ever done that. We communicated well. We made sure we had an understanding with each other. what can go on, what doesn't go on. And I made sure that the actual talent himself is extremely professional and he has boundaries as well. He's married, happy. He's been in the swinging life honestly for many, many years. So he knows those boundaries, and I was able to communicate those with him too. So it's kind of, it's a healthy balance between my husband and the talent and self-control with myself. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So
Could you have done this, say, when you were 20 years old? Or is this something that for you, you need to have like a, you know, or you have to be older than, when we see kids in the NFL draft now where it's like, all right, I couldn't do this when I was 20, 18, 19. I need to, grow up a bit before I could do all of this.
I've always been independent though. So even when I was 16 years old or 17 years old, I was always playing like a mom. I have four sisters, and three of them of which are younger than me. I always took care of them. So I think instilled within me is this like very mature, milfy mom, kind of figure. I don't know. I'm able to separate things easily. I do gain anxiety sometimes. I do get down and angry. We all have our moments, but I'm always able to separate everything that I do between my personal life and my business. And as to how I do it, I think it's just instilled within me. I don't know.
Before we let you go, and I'm glad you brought that up also, the insecurities, because this is you live
Mm.
this life, this adult career, and everybody sees everything's wonderful, everything is
Uh-huh.
awesome. That's the thing here, in terms of everybody's in the adult industry or any video industry or any movie industry. But as mentioned earlier, with let's see your maintenance or the enhancements here, it's you do worry like, you got to put photos on it, but all of a sudden you start noticing, oh, this doesn't look good, this doesn't look good. I don't like this here. You're dealing in social media, you're dealing with people who they just want to say something nasty just to get a reaction of you. They poking the bear, as they say. You
Oh yeah.
deal with just the mental stigma of, hey, I'm doing porn. This is what people are gonna think. What's going on? Do I tell people? How tough is it, each year just going through more and more and more as the industry and everything is becoming more and more social media, more and more people interacting, and more people who they're going to say something. And, you've learned now with each year, it's like, okay, I can't respond. Not say anything snarky. I can't just, blow up. I have to, as you said, keep this cool, calm shell no matter what.
Yes. Okay. So that is a great question. Insecurities are so high, especially in today's world, because technology obviously is so advanced. It's very challenging. A lot of what I do, I just don't even look at it. I honestly like. I mean, and I control a lot of my social media. So when I'm going through something, and say I had 50 comments on this one post, and someone was like, "Oh, she's nasty. Oh, that's so disgusting." I'll throw back a nice comment. I literally, and you know what I get out of like 4 out of 5 of them. I get people that follow me and will message me and tell me how they're so depressed with their own life. They want someone else to make them feel bad, or they're just trolls. So in the end, I dig into their brain, and I'm like, well, they're probably just not happy with themselves. That's why they're dogging on me. Because if they didn't really like the way that I looked or the way that I acted, I don't think that they would even pass the post. I mean, why would they sit on my post? They would pass it, right? So if you don't like someone and you're like, oh, that's gross, are you gonna actually sit there and comment on it, or are you just gonna flip through it? Most people just flip through it if they don't like it. That's why you see the ratio of views to likes so much different, because a lot of people are like, ew, I don't like that, so they just pass through it because that's your view. You got a view, but if you're hitting like on it, you know what I mean? So I just blow it off. I blow smoke. I'm like, whatever. Just it's always going to happen, and that's the way it is. Yeah, you just have to be tough enough in this industry to get through it. I mean, if you're not strong, and I've been through some serious shit in my life, being tough is what it takes. And if you can't be tough, you should probably leave because it's not going to be easy for any woman doing this ever.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are always proud to have on the show. I give you one of the biggest stars now in the industry. I give you Alyssia
Thank
Vera. So,
you.
listen, before I let you go, where can fans check you out at? Whereas, once again, the X, Instagram, OnlyFans, or MyFans, or many vids, or even Fansly, and also where can fans check you out the next couple months? Like, where are you going to be at? What conventions? Where can fans get to meet and for, let's say, for an autograph or something from you?
Sure, absolutely. I'll definitely be at XBIZ coming up May. I think it's May 14th through 16th. I have to double check those, but yeah, it's the basically the middle of the month in May for XBiz. You can find me on X at Alyssia Vera, ALYSSIAVERA. My Instagram has changed because my other one got banned. So my new one is verified, VERAFIEDXO. And then my OnlyFans is Alyssia Vera. My VIP is Alyssia Vera XO.
Alyssia Vera, ladies and gentlemen, once again, always on a pleasure have you on the show. We come back, a lot more going on here. Only on It's After Hours, only on Full Swap Radio.